What is up, guys? I am ExxotikGaming, and today I am back with another Pixel Gun 3D weapon review. In the last weapon review that I did just yesterday on the Laser Bouncer UP1, I told you guys to comment down below in the comment section to that video telling me what weapon you would like to see me review next. And the weapon that got the most amount of requests in the comment section to that video was the Kaboom UP2 in the premium section. So that is what we are going to be reviewing for you guys today. Continuing on with the trend of what I've been saying in the introduction to these weapon reviews, if you guys found this video entertaining, informational, and you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button. It would really mean a lot if you did. And even more importantly, just like I've said in the past two weapon reviews, make sure to comment down below what weapon you would like to see me review next. Because, like I've always said, whatever weapon gets the most amount of requests in the comment section is the weapon we will be reviewing next. So with that being said, let's jump right into today's review. So we have said that the anti-hero rifle UP2 is the brother of the prototype UP2. And we've said that the Laser Bouncer UP1 is the father of the Alien Blaster UP2. So what does that make the Kaboom UP2? It makes it the big brother of the Mines Launcher UP1. Yes, this is another one of those explosive spamming weapons where it fires dynamite extremely fast out of the weapon and absolutely devastates anyone that comes in contact with it. This weapon is quite possibly one of the best area damage weapons in Pixel Gun 3D, and you guys can easily see that right off at the very beginning here looking at the stats of the weapon. It has a 24 lethality, 87 firing rate, 10 capacity, and 120 mobility. So its lethality, firing rates, and mobility are all better than most of the other area damage weapons in Pixel Gun 3D. The capacity is the only stat that is very average. But the pure power of the weapon does have a trade-off when you take the weapon into some actual gameplay. You guys will see why I am saying this in the next coming moments. Because there is one unique feature to this weapon that makes it very different from all of the other area damage weapons in this game, aside from the Mines Launcher UP1. And that unique feature is the fact that this is one of those weapons where it doesn't instantly explode on impact. A lot of the area damage weapons in Pixel Gun 3D instantly explode on impact, and this is not one of them. It takes a second or two from when you fire it before it explodes. As you guys can see right there, some of them don't even explode. A majority of them do, but sometimes it doesn't even explode. So it's one of those very unique weapons where you have to kind of judge your time accurately when firing this to get the full potential of this weapon. It's not like the solar power cannon or the anti-gravity blaster or numerous other area damage weapons where the second it hits a wall or an enemy player or such like that, it will instantly explode. So it is very, very different in that aspect. But if you can learn how to use the weapon correctly and you can learn how to judge the amount of time between firing and exploding and firing a little ahead of enemy players if they are moving in a certain direction, you will find that this weapon can be one of the most powerful weapons in Pixel Gun 3D. You can get some fantastic gameplay with it, and it would make sense considering this is a relatively expensive weapon in this game. This is by no means cheap, but since it is a pretty powerful weapon, you would assume that it is a relatively expensive weapon in this game. But it is worth the price because this weapon will absolutely demolish anybody that it comes in contact, even adamant armored players. A lot of weapons can't really take out adamant armored players too well, but this weapon can easily do so and without much problem. So in this whole review here, I'm basically trying to explain how this weapon is as great as it is. This weapon is probably better than a majority of other area damage weapons for close range. Maybe not at something like Atlantis, like I am in right now, because it does get pretty long range at times, but a lot of the times it is in fact better than some other area damage weapons for the pure reason that it is a lot faster in terms of its firing rates. You take this thing into Silent School and you do like a little 1v1 in a hallway against somebody who has something like the solar power cannon, they will probably end up dying because since this thing has such a fast firing rate, they will not be able to react and respond in time before you actually take them out. So it is a very, very good weapon weapon in that aspect. And you can even take out people who have something like the dark matter generator and stuff. And honestly, you can use that slow explosion time to your advantage. If somebody is hiding inside a corner, you can fire a bunch of your explosives at one time into that corner, and maybe 3 of them will explode at the same time, getting triple the damage in one single shot against that enemy player. So this thing can easily get one single shot, sometimes more powerful than things like the solar power cannon and the bastion. So it is a very, very good weapon with that aspect. Atlantis is not the best map for this weapon. The only reason I'm in Atlantis for this video is this is probably the first time I have seen an Atlantis match that actually has a decent amount of people in many, many months. But your maps that are going to be the best for this weapon are Infected Prison, Silent School, Pizzeria, and such like that. Those are going to be your best maps for this weapon, and you can potentially get some decent gameplay at medium range, but do not count on it, because since it does have a relatively slow travel time, it will be pretty difficult to take those people out. So keep that in mind when using this weapon, and if you can manage to use it correctly, this thing is great, guys. I really like it. It's very fun to use, although it is a spamming weapon, so it is something that I have a feeling people are going to get mad about when others using, but in all honesty, since it does fire a little bit slower than the Mines Launcher, it probably is not going to annoy people as much as the Mines Launcher does. And plus, it only has 30 rockets, or dynamites, I should say, when you first respawn with the weapon, so that's not that many, and you can easily run out of those very quickly if you fire too often. So, this is one of those weapons where it can run out of ammo, and you have to be very careful when using this weapon so you don't run out of ammo, because if you do, then you'll have to switch to something like your special, your sniper and stuff, and that's really not that fun. So try to avoid spamming for too long with this weapon. Only fire when you know you can hit the enemy player with whatever you're trying to fire at them, and that is how you can make the most out of the weapon. Because as you guys can see right there, I was spamming a lot, and I only had 9 shots before I died. So if I didn't die there, and I took that guy out, then, well, I would have probably ran out of ammo, and I really wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. So that is the one big downfall with this weapon. It runs out of ammo pretty fast. Honestly, anything other than that, there's really not that many downfalls about it. I mean, there are going to be people that are really not going to do well against something like this using it because they really can't accurately judge how fast and how quickly the thing explodes. So it is one of those weapons which is not for everyone, and you have to keep that in mind. If I'm getting great gameplay with this, you might not necessarily get great gameplay with this. So if you have the Mines Launcher, think. Do you get good gameplay with the Mines Launcher? Or, even if you don't, are you able to have the thing explode and hit an enemy player a majority of the times that you are firing at them? If you can hit somebody a majority of the time that you use the Mines Launcher, then this is probably a weapon for you. But, truthfully, if you want to use something that is a little bit more of a challenge that might make some people a little bit mad, but if it is something that you really want to make a challenge and you want to be slightly more difficult to use this weapon than some of the other weapons in this game that are area damage, then you might want to consider getting this thing, just because honestly, it takes a lot more skill and a lot more practice to get this thing down than some of the other area damage weapons in this game. Gonna leave this Atlantis match because there's only about 2 or 3 other players in it now, and I'll go into something that's a little bit more players, like this Silent School match right here. This is a much better map for this weapon. Atlantis was alright, but Silent School, Infected Prison, all of these super close hallway maps are the ones where this weapon shines. Those are really the maps where you can use this thing and you can get some fantastic ultra monster multi-kills very easily with this thing without much trouble. Now, if you do encounter somebody with the Stormhammer, your best advice is to stay as far away from them as possible, and this is a good weapon for counteracting that because, as we all know, area damage weapons are weapons which blast enemies away from you. So, if somebody has the Stormhammer and they're running at you, swinging like a complete idiot, try to fire this thing at them and it will blast them away from you and give you a much easier time to take them out. So that is something that is very important with this weapon, guys. It can easily take out some of the Stormhammer users, and that is great. To be able to have something that can easily take out Stormhammer users is very, very comforting, because most weapons in this game cannot take out Stormhammer users. In fact, there are only a couple that can really consistently take out Stormhammer users, back after back after back, and easily take them out. This is one of those ones that can successfully do so. But don't get yourself stuck in the corner or something like that, or else you're not going to be able to take them out anyways. So if you see somebody with the Stormhammer, try to get into a slightly more open space where you can run away from them much more easily, and then try to fire at them and easily make them go away. Just blast them away, and then you can fire at them from long range, and that will provide you with a pretty easy kill with them not even being able to react to it. So, yeah, guys, it's a great weapon for taking out those people who use the Stormhammer constantly. It's a great weapon overall, even if it's not just for taking out Stormhammer users. I honestly think this is one of the best area damage weapons in the game so far. I really like it, and I'm sure a majority of people watching this like it, unless you don't have it, and then you're one of those people who just think it's a very newbie spamming weapon. I don't really think it's that much of a newbie weapon, just because this is one of those weapons which does require a little bit of skill to use, because it doesn't instantly explode when you fire the weapon. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, it may be slightly newbie, but it's nowhere near as newbie as something like the Stormhammer or something like that. So I'm not really complaining too much, and I don't think the people watching this should complain too much as well. In all honesty, if I was going to do this review solely based off of whether you should get this one or the Mines Launcher, it's really based up in your opinion. The Mines Launcher is much less expensive, and the Mines Launcher is one of those weapons which is better for some of the lower level players. So it really is based off of you and your personal preference. If you're willing to spend a bit more, then you should definitely consider getting this one. The Kaboom UP2 is a lot more powerful than the Mines Launcher and will give you much better gameplay at the highest level bracket. So if you want to spend a little bit more, this is the way to go. Get this one over the Mines Launcher, and I promise you, you will get much better gameplay with this one than you would with the Mines Launcher. So, yeah. I mean, this weapon even looks good. In my personal opinion, I think it looks fantastic. See, sometimes this is how long it takes to explode, guys. It's weird, in all honesty, because sometimes it doesn't explode, and you can't really tell when it does and when it doesn't. But about 95% of the time you fire the weapon, it does explode, but there you go. There's 2 examples of when it didn't, so it's very odd, and there's only certain times when it doesn't. Also, I do have to say this, when you try to go up against the Stormhammer users, be careful to not blast them towards you. Because, like, right there, that was a perfect example of when I got him to blast towards me, and that made it a lot easier for him to take me out. So, yeah, guys, it's all the way good right down to the way it looks. I think this looks really, really cool, in my personal opinion. A lot better than some of the other area damage weapons in this game, and yeah, unfortunately my game just crashed, so we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen and just go right back into this game, guys. Actually, I'm gonna cut the video and I'm gonna get right back into some gameplay. Alright guys, so I apologize for that little crash there. The game doesn't really crash too much for me, but when it does, usually, of course, it happens when I'm recording. So, in these last few minutes, I have some gameplay in Toy Story, or not Toy Story, why did I say Toy Story? Toy Factory, and you guys can see how this weapon performs in some close to medium range, just a slightly larger map than something like Silent School. Silent School and Pizzeria and Infected Prison, those ones with the hallways, are very good because people can get stuck in corners in those hallways and they can't really do anything about it, so you can fire multiple rockets or dynamite at one time at them and easily take them out in a couple of seconds. This is a little bit more difficult because somebody can blast away from you, jump up high, and avoid the rockets and stuff, so it does give you a lot more difficult gameplay when you're in something like this, and that is why I would definitely consider staying in something like Silent School if you really wanted to just keep with very, very good gameplay. So, yeah, guys, I don't really have much else I need to say about this fantastic weapon in the premium section. It is a very, very good weapon, and I definitely consider getting it. I've said this about the past 3 weapon reviews, but Really Soft did add very, very powerful weapons in this most recent update, and yeah, I mean, these are pretty good weapons, guys, and you should definitely consider getting these ones. If you guys did enjoy this weapon review on the Kaboom UP2, then be sure to hit that like button, comment, favorite, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Pixel Gun 3D weapon reviews, and most importantly, make sure to comment down below which weapon you would like to see me review next. I said this at the beginning, I'm saying this at the end, just so you can remember to do so, because everybody was commenting the Kaboom UP2 in the last video, and that is why I reviewed it, because it is the weapon that everybody wanted the most. So, it's a direct correlation with how many people want to see it. Whatever one is the most requested is the one that I will do next. The ones that got a pretty good amount of requests as well in the last one were the dual shotguns, the dual machete, and the poison hunter. So, those are ones that may possibly be next depending on how many people want them, and yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the gameplay that I got with this one, you thought it was like complete chaos and you thought it was funny, make sure to go check out the gameplay that I did with my Mines Launcher review. I'll have it linked down below in the description, and that is pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode.